So yeah, guys, I'm gonna show you basically how we gross profited $2,700 in just one day.
What's up, guys? Heath with Lake Champlain Sanitation here. Boy, do we got a busy Friday for you. We're gonna do something a little different today, guys. I'm gonna give you obviously some insight into some of the jobs we're gonna do today. I've got James running the dump truck today, my father gonna be running the single cab, and I'm actually in the older white diesel today. We have 7 dumpsters to drop off, and let me think here, 1, 2, 3 clean outs, and we're going to try to do a appliance removal as well. Going to capture all that as best I can for you guys and show you how many miles I'm going to put on in my truck this Friday. So hope you enjoy. Alrighty, guys, so got our first dumpster on the ground here. I'm going to show you guys how many miles so far on the truck for the first drop. So we're getting about 9.5 miles per gallon, guys, and 33 miles. This dumpster I marked up $150 over the rate that we normally would. So we're at like 460 bucks for this one for a weekend rental on a 15 yard. So guys, the biggest thing when you guys are like putting a few extra miles on your trucks, and I've talked about this in other videos, you really want to mark up those miles. I typically include, like, say I'm going to do a $300 rental. It would be $300. I'm always assuming about 10 miles each way is in the rate already. So yeah, if you're going to go outside of that, like I just did, it was 30 miles each way. I'm going to add 150 bucks onto that, and generally speaking, my truck gets about 10 miles per gallon when it's towing. So a few extra bucks in gas and you mark it up for your extra time, and you'll be good there. Now, if you're gonna go anything over 30, I'll bring it up quite a bit more aggressively. Like say it's 40 miles, which realistically 40 miles, you should not have to go any further than that. I'll jump it up to like from the 30 mile away mark to 40 mile away mark. That's only 10 more miles. I'll jump it up an additional $200. So like, for instance, you'd be around $600 to $650 for a 1 to 3 day rental of a 15 yard if I'm driving that far away. All right, guys, second dumpster, filling it up. In a trailer park right now, the owners of this trailer park are trying to fix up literally like 17 trailers. We've been working with them since February, like beginning of February. Here we are in April. Stuff like this, guys, is where you can get those return customers that really can up your revenues. You give them a little bit better deal, but these guys, I think, have done at least like 12 or 15 roll-offs through me since February, and they just keep doing them. They're gonna plan to do them all year. So filled up a little bit of house debris. Basically, they'll take one that's like condemned and old. The outside stays the same. They go through, they remodel, they gut and remodel the entire inside of them. So there are a couple dumpsters a piece, and make the inside like brand new, and then they sell them at like a really cheap, good rate to somebody who's looking to move into a trailer. So trailer parks, win-win, especially when you're working with the landlord, and you know that same person's writing the check every time. And it is 8:51, guys. We are currently about 2 hours into the day, 79 miles on already. So that's dropping off one, picking up this one, and now we're gonna head to the dump. All right, guys. Second drop of the day, 96 miles so far. That includes going to the dump. Dropping this bad boy right now. Even though we're on tarmac, we're still using boards to make sure we save the customers' driveways. Get this thing off, and we are headed down to a place called Fern Lake. Dumpster number 2 loaded up. We're rolling into the landfill here in a few minutes. A little update on miles, 130.9 as of where we stand right now. So I'm gonna guess we're gonna be over a couple hundred by the end of the day today. We're at the landfill here. You can see behind me, a couple trucks lining up, tractor trailer coming out. This guy's got quite the load. But this is where we gotta recycle. For anybody that, I don't think I've ever gone over that. They have like tin section, magazine section, paper section, cardboard section, and then you got to put the glass somewhere else, plastic in there as well. And that is where we're heading, guys. Right up top, still on the mountain. Get this thing dumped, gonna go grab those appliances, and the last drop isn't until 4 this afternoon. So we got a little while, but hopefully I have enough time. James will get done the clean outs and we will be doing those appliances. All right, guys, second load's dumped. I'm gonna flip this camera around and give you guys a little 5500 sighting. I always love seeing like multiple of my trucks in the dump at the same time. It's kind of cool. With Dad and James both driving now, it's a pretty common occurrence this time of year. I think we've been putting 3 trucks in here 3 times this week out of 5 days. So not bad. Business is booming, and definitely can't complain about that. Here he comes up on the scales. Not a bad looking little rig. Pretty nice way to end the day, guys. Riding right along the lake, little swamp on this side. This is actually like it's a rail for a train. It goes right along pretty much all the way down, I believe, into like Ticonderoga, New York, from way up here, upstate New York. So pretty cool. This is called Lake Street where we're dropping it. I'm sure it's gonna have a nice view. We are currently at 235 miles. So we are gonna be on the better part of 260, 270 by the time we are all done for the day. And I'm gonna get into a little bit of like, you know, profits on the day, how much these miles made, how much my dad did, and then how much James did, and how much the company brought in today total. All right, guys, so we finished up the day, about 256 miles. That's a better day for me. I don't think I've done much over that. The other couple trucks got a few less miles. I don't know exactly. I didn't have the guys do the trip meters on their trucks, but now let's get into some revenues and then some profits for the day. So basically, we did 7 roll-off dumpsters, and some of which were $450, one of which was $500 because we had to travel a little bit. Like that Fern Lake one that I picked up, that was a $600 rental. Granted, the revenue came in a couple days ago, so I'm not going to count that in this, but you can really mark it up, guys, if you're going to be running a little bit outside of your service area. So let's just break down these numbers. I'm going to go, what did I make? How much did, Dad bring in the single cab truck? And how much did James bring in the 5500 doing those clean outs? And as you can see, though, pretty empty yard here, which is a good thing on the weekend. So going through here, guys, like I said, we had 7 roll-off dumpsters, 3 at $319, which is my typical rate right now for a weekend, and then 2 at $399. One was a 20-yard, one was my dump trailer. My dump trailer is built up, and the customer wanted a 20-yard but didn't have one available, so they took that instead. And then a couple we had to travel a little bit for. Those $449 and $499. Those were both 15-yard dumpsters, but total gross revenue at $2,703 just in dumpsters, which was great. The clean outs, we did 2 that were $380 gross and 1 at $300. The $300 one was really, really light. I mean, basically nothing for dump fees on that. But when we get into the dump fees column, I'll kind of show you guys how I averaged it out. Appliance removal. Like I said, it was like a dishwasher and a fridge, nothing major. The fridge was actually smaller than I expected and didn't have any like condenser on it, so it was actually ready to go to the scrapyard. But anyway, total revenues $39.13 on a Friday. Now let's hop into the profits and the expenses. So starting out, guys, with our expenses of the dump fees, we got our dumpsters. Now the reason I put 7 at $68 is our rate right now is like $68.05 or something at the landfill, so I'm rounding. The reason I put 7 by 68 is included in the rate is only 1 ton of debris. If they go over that, they get billed extra. And we won't know the weight, of course, until after the fact. So that's why I put 7 at 68, because it's going to be a minimum of that revenue with a maximum of this expense coming out of your basic gross profit. Now, if you have to go back and add more of a charge later, again, that's after the dumping fact. So this is just with what I dropped right now. So the clean outs, 3 at $68, same thing. I'm assuming a ton in all of those prices. I'm assuming the 1 ton. The reason the $300 one is a little funky is because that one was actually at the landfill minimum of $30, but I wanted, for the sake of this, to give you guys numbers
for the sake of this, in a different scenario, if say everything was right around that ton, I just want to give you kind of worst case scenarios of the money you can make with a few trucks moving. So that's why I did that. Now we're going to go down to appliances. Like I said, brought them to the scrapyard. There was no dump fees on that. I just had to drive them a couple miles from where I picked them up to the scrapyard. So I had fuel expense, but that was it. Fuel, we're going to hop down here. I put $70 times 3. Fuel is going up, so the $5,500, if I were to fill that from empty, would be a little more than that. Even though it's a gas job, it's got a big tank on it, but the diesel trucks had a little bit of fuel in them, and I ended the days with, I think one was just under a quarter tank, and the other truck actually had a little more fuel in it. So for sake of rounding, we're going to go 3 times 70 and give you a good fuel number if you got 3 trucks running most of the day locally. So $210 there. And then we had payroll. That's for 2 guys. That's for 2 guys only working a few hours. Okay, that's not 2 8-hour days, of course, or 9-hour days. If it was that much, it would be obviously more money, but they only had to work a few hours, a little bit different for each one. So total expenses, not counting my pay. Of course, this is not counting truck insurance, and that's why I'm going to say gross profit. That's that's basically our cost of goods sold. Cost of the fuel, cost of the dump fees, cost of the bodies to be moving the trucks. And then of course the truck insurance and all that good stuff's extra, but I'm not gonna get that granular in this video. So total gross profit, guys, $27.83. And again, that's with like going a little bit high on one of those clean outs where I said it was 68 when it was really only 30. But yeah, I mean, $27.83, guys, that gross profit is take home for, a regular full-time job in a month, and the company did it in a day. Now out of that, I'll probably pay myself $200 and put the rest back into the business like I keep doing. But I mean, I'm starting to see as we're growing, and this was a really good day. This is not an everyday thing. I'd love if this was every day. It would be awesome. But these numbers are on a really awesome, busy, booming Friday in the busy season. Spring cleanups are going big. COVID money's coming out. People want to do that clean out they've been wanting to do for the last, 8 months or a year. They just didn't have that little extra money. So I think that's attributing to it. But all in all, guys, a heck of a way to roll into the weekend. And if you guys have any, questions and leave your comments below, I really appreciate it. And hoping to do a couple more videos like this year where we get into more of the numbers of everything and the miles on the trucks. The trucks, all those miles on those trucks, those trucks depreciated. So that's a great, that's a great profit, but I'm going to say I'm probably going to take I would say $1,500 of that, put it right down on one of my loans for the truck. So I keep paying them off fast. So just know, like, once everything's paid off, or if you were doing this with all paid off equipment, it's like, yeah, that's a big number. But as you're scaling, growing, and trying to keep new equipment like I do, I still have a couple payments on those bigger trucks. So that extra money is just going to go to that. But as always, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.